Hello everyone. If we haven't met before, my name is Hilary Martin and I offer a holistic and integrative approach to mental and physical well-being, and I call my work mood coaching. The topic of this video is New Year's resolutions and why they so often fail. So, how are you doing with your New Year's resolutions? Have you stuck to them? Are you struggling? Have you completely given up? Are you giving yourself a really hard time? Well, don't. Here are some recommendations. New Year's resolutions are often based on a perceived problem and then coming up with solutions that you think will get rid of the problem. For example, wanting to lose weight because being overweight is a problem for you. So you take action to get rid of the problem rather than consider what you want to create in the long term. What does losing weight actually give you? Is it health that you want? Is it more energy? Is it feeling more confident about yourself? Formulate the end point, the vision of what you want for your health. If you focus on losing weight, this is what's likely to happen. You'll come up with some actions to take. That may be joining a slimming club, doing a counting calorie diet, cutting down on all those things that we love but we know put on weight, the cakes, the biscuits, the crisps, the junk food, the takeaways. And you will start to lose weight and you'll start feeling like, oh, I'm really pleased about that, I'm feeling woo. But it's been hard. I mean, it's hard to do all those things. But so far you've been motivated, took quite a lot of willpower, you felt gung-ho. But slowly, once you've lost the weight, you'll kind of think, well, I've lost the weight now. The problem's no longer there to motivate you. And so you think this is what will happen. Well, I could have some of that cake now. Yeah, I deserve a treat. I've lost weight. Yeah, I'll have a McDonald's. Yeah, let's have a few takeaways. It won't matter if I have those crisps, will it? Does this sound familiar to those of you that have struggled to lose weight? You will also usually tend to really give yourself a hard time. It becomes a real sort of negative downward spiral. You start judging yourself. Oh, I'm useless, I'm never going to lose weight, I haven't got any willpower, I'm weak, yada yada yada. In fact, in that downward spiral and all that sort of whipping yourself, you're more likely to eat even more rubbish food. This all has nothing to do with your willpower. It's nothing to do with you as a person. It's entirely because you focused on solving a problem. The problem no longer exists, so you stop taking the action because there's nothing there to motivate you. Whereas if you focus on the long term, what you actually want to create, what you want to bring into your life, it's an entirely different motivation. You're motivated towards something and you're much more likely to take action consistently over the long term. Imagine it's a year from now and you're describing what you've created with your health and well-being. What do you now have? What's different? How are you feeling? What have you learned? What are you actually doing now? Here's an example. I have more energy than ever. I love creating delicious foods. I know what foods are good and bad for my mood, and I'm making really healthy eating choices. I've found a form of movement that I love doing. I feel really happy with myself, and I love looking at myself in the mirror. Notice there is no mention of losing weight, but in order to have more energy and to like looking at yourself in the mirror, you may well have lost weight. If you do this exercise, you'll notice that it feels really tangible and entirely possible. In fact, it is possible. The next step is to keep focused on your vision. Focus on it and read it every morning. Really imagine you've created this vision and really inhabit it. And when you get faced with a choice in your life, just check out, will this choice help me to move closer to that vision? So once you know where you want to end up, the next step is to come up with actions, figure out how you're going to create that vision. And this is another big mistake that people make. They come up with actions and steps that are much too ambitious and much too big to succeed. For example, if you haven't been exercising at all and you decide one of your actions is going to be to go to the gym every day or go out for a jog every day, it's really unlikely to happen. It's just too hard, and then you'll give up. So the steps need to be really small and easy to do. This is really hard for people because you want to kind of get on and you want to make a big change. But it's really important to keep the actions small. Succeeding with your steps is really important because it builds momentum to bigger steps. So keep it small. It's better to do something than nothing at all. So you're creating new habits that are going to support your vision. The next step or technique is to fire up the dopamine in the brain. Many of our behaviours are actually driven by the pleasure centre in the brain. So this is where celebration and congratulation and bigging yourself up comes in. So every time you take a step, it doesn't matter how big or small it is, you need to celebrate it. So you have to actually physically do this. So I do a little jig when I've done something that I wanted to do that is in support of my vision. And that looks a little bit like, yay, well done, Hilary. Woo, 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 you did it. You've got to find what works for you. The important thing is when you do this, it releases a bit of dopamine. And what that will do is it'll make us much more likely to want to repeat that behaviour because the brain loves dopamine. So this is a way to create new habits. This idea comes from BJ Fogg's Tiny Habits book, which I recommend. So those are my recommendations for the year ahead. And in a year's time, when you do look back over the year, you may actually have decided to work with me because you were so intrigued by some of these ideas. And you ended up having fun with me as well as creating an amazing vision. Wishing you health, happiness and peace.